makes us unable to act, when sometimes we simply must. We should not doubt that there are alternatives to worlds that are composed of inequality, exploitation, and violence. And we should not doubt that we can collectively act to oppose them and create new and better worlds, even if at heart we are totally certain about what we are doing and how we might get there. Nina Power.
Earth-shaped biotexture are self-sustaining homes built from recycled materials developed by Michael Reynolds in the 20th century. If every building was to consume its own sewerage, that'd be huge.
But if every person could afford their own home, that'd be huge.
Then, if every building made its own power, and heated, and cooled itself, and caught its own water, rather than sucking water out of the aquifers.
But if every building was guaranteed to be safe and adequate and livable, and housing secure enough that sustainability can become a priority.
The ramifications of how people live in their own units could affect things in an unbelievable way.
Then the ramifications of your 1.6 million, 2-bedroom, Earth-ship biotexture could affect things in an unbelievable way.
Ultimately, it would affect the minds and hearts of people.
To be young and aware is to know you're being lied to know that a bright green future is possible, to know that we can reimagine the world.
Shut up! If this was 30 years ago, then talking about the issue might have worked. But people have been talking and people have been writing this for years upon years, and nothing has changed. How do you think writing about this is helping anyone? It's not. Nothing has been achieved by sitting on our ass writing about it. We need to stop pretending like climate change is an issue for the future. It's happening now. We need to plan now. We need to act now. They need to hear us now. What will it take to make you hear us? Why won't you hear us?
Build back better, blah, blah, blah. Green economy, blah, blah, blah. Net zero by 2050, blah, blah, blah. This is all we hear from our so-called leaders. Words that sound great, but so far have not led to action. Our hopes and ambitions drown in their empty promises.
Greta talar om löften som bleknar. Bara ord kommer
ensamma
inte
kommer inte att få betyget. Åtgärder behövs inte bara prata. Med varje röst, låt oss höja för att rädda jorden. För framtiden där hopp kan finnas. Vi måste gå på promenad.
Ledare som verkligen bryr sig för att leda vår planet att reparera. Tomma luften kommer inte att läka vårt land. Det är dags för en förändring. Och ta en ställning. För kommande generationer måste vi enas inte göras ogjort. Med
varje röst, låt oss höja ljudet. För framtiden där hopp kan finnas. Hittade.
What if your voice was silenced like a broken tide, in sectors undervalued where struggles abide? What if threads of your life moved up and down, while decent pay felt like a distant crown? Just by your privilege you navigate the space, while women of colour endure a heavier pace. Christ is a term you hear but don't see. As workplaces falter, let our demands be free. Talked way too much, yet nothing has changed, while the cost of living leaves lives unarranged. What if you felt the weight of the fight for fair wages, for justice, for what's right? In shadows of silence, we find our way. Together we rise, demanding a brighter day.
Calling it climate change is rather limiting. I would rather call it the everything change. As children, we experience the world. With boundless curiosity, where every day brings new discoveries. The seasons changing, the growth of a plant, the flow of a stream. This reminds us that the change is woven into the fabric of life. From shifting weather patterns to altering ecosystems, the everything change reshapes not just the environment, but our way of living, thinking, and planning for the future. Embracing this broader perspective urges us to care for our planet with the same openness and curiosity we carried as children, ready to learn, adapt, and protect the world that we call home.
Doubt hinders action, when sometimes we simply must. We should not doubt that there are alternatives to worlds that are composed of inequality, exploitation, and violence. And we should not doubt that we can collectively act to oppose them and create new and better worlds. Doubt is the hand that isn't raised. Doubt is the starting line before a big race. Doubt is the friends we won't make. Doubt is the job she won't take. Doubt isn't what was handed to him on a plate. There's no doubt that our world and society as we know it has been forged upon inequality, violence, and exploitation. But why should we doubt the safety of our daughters walking home? Why should a no be ignored? Why should a period be expensive? Why are we still fighting? Because if the 1% gain from inequality, exploitation, and violence, then it will keep on going. Doubt doesn't hinder action, they do. So next time you're walking down the street, remember her safety is withheld for profit, greed, and the male ego. Kidnapping, rape, sexual trafficking, domestic violence, stalking, revenge porn, these aren't women's issues, these are men's problems. A woman once asked a male friend why men felt threatened by women. He replied, "We're afraid they might laugh at us." When she asked a group of women why they felt threatened by men, they said, "We're afraid they might kill us." So tell me, is it doubt or is it men?
Artificial intelligence has become so advanced, it has now surpassed human performance. Concerns about
AI stories. AI machines protect the internet from propaganda.
It is worth remembering that at some point in the very distant past, no human had ever drunk milk from a cow.
Moo! What the hell is going on? Moo!
Imagine life with no milk. I mean, cereal. What would you even have with it? Baked beans? Coca-Cola? Apple juice? Washing up liquid? Surely not.
Strike until the 27th of June, Thursday 27th of June.
All of you?
All of us, all the machinists anyway.
For many women who work in systemically undervalued sectors, strike action is critical to making their voices heard. What's more, we know that women, especially women of colour, are at the sharp end of the cost of living crisis. Workplaces must work for women, and the starting point for this must be decent pay and working conditions.
How long are you prepared to stay out on strike?
A year.
Women in undervalued sectors suffer most in economic crises, especially women of colour, who face lower wages, job insecurity, and workplace discrimination. They cared for society during the pandemic, yet their struggles remain ignored. When they demand fair pay, they are dismissed, but fair wages and decent conditions are not luxuries, they are rights. Society must recognise and value their contributions, ensuring workplaces support them with better wages, protections, and opportunities for advancement. Dignity in work should be a guarantee, not a privilege.
With conversational AI, I think society has the most to lose. Having it take over search means people will be spoon-fed information that is limited, homogenized, and sometimes incorrect. It will affect our capacity to learn, and will suffocate the open web as we know it. I don't see how search taken over by conversational AI doesn't eventually lead to some form of dystopia.
Artificial intelligence is siphoning our autonomy, separating us from reason, from authentic thought. We claim ownership over the ideas we are fed, orchestrating a world built upon a facade of our own creation. Inevitably, the desolation of this reality continues. So, close your mind, relieve yourself of thought, and unthink all you know.
Today we use 100 million barrels of oil every single day. There are no politics to change that. There are no rules to keep that oil in the ground. We can't save the world by playing by the rules. The rules have to be changed.
servers produce thousands of tons of electronic waste, and their manufacture requires rare earth metals, whose extraction is another source of pollution.
important. We have always meant something. We have always succeeded, regardless. And now is the time. I ain't waiting. I ain't waiting.
If you account for education attainment, there has been very little progress in addressing the gender earnings gap since 1995. The highest female earners take home just 67 pence for every pound that the best paid men do, while fewer than 1/4 men earn the same or less than the median woman.
The median woman's wage has developed over time. From 1969, taking home 20p for every £1 demanded.
Is it fair?
That she earned 1/5 that her colleagues would. Jumping forward to today, the figure is 13.5%. The gap is narrowing, but not closed.
Is it fair?
Is it fair?
Is it fair?
We have received change before and will receive it again.
Change is now.
It's important for us to also understand the phrase
Black Lives Matter.
The movement was founded in 2013 and most recently was fueled by the horrific murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor in 2020. Fundamentally, Black Lives Matter is about resisting police violence and systemic racism. Black Lives Matter refers to the notion that there's a specific vulnerability for African Americans that needs to be addressed. Again and again, ethnic minorities suffer at the hands of institutions that are supposed to protect them. This racism has a deep-rooted history, not only in America but across the world. It's in the media, in laws, in systems and in biases. It's not meant to suggest that other lives don't matter. The need for such a simple statement to be clarified shows a terrifying level of ignorance. All lives matter and blue lives matter are retorts filled with hatred, mechanically replicated without thought and without listening. It's to suggest that other folks aren't experiencing this particular vulnerability. When even the simplest concept is misunderstood by so many, it's clear that education is failing us.